Well. The season of free t-shirt and goodies is finally here. I'm sorry. Hacktoberfest is finally here. If you are the one who is interested only and only in these free goodies and free t-shirt, and this is the thing that matters the most for you, then I'm really sorry, my friend, because open source or Hacktoberfest is something not for you. So now comes the very important question, what is open source? Right? So open source software in very simple terms is a software which has its own source code freely available, and this code can obviously be studied by you, it can be modified by you and redistributed as well. So in very simple terms, the code is readily available for you to study. If you want to see how such type of software can be created, then you can get an idea by looking at that code and similar things. So basically these are great softwares which are available for free. Perhaps there are many softwares already which you use but you do not know that are open source. So the first example is VLC Media Player. It is really a very famous media player used by millions of people, and people mostly do not know that it is open source. Another example is Mozilla Firefox and a very famous operating system that is Linux. Even that is open source. Apart from that, programming languages like Python is also open source, and if I'm not wrong, Flutter is also open source. So we are in a world that is surrounded by open source. We are directly or indirectly using many things that have involvement of open source. So in a nutshell, open source is a really very cool idea in which people from all over the world try to build a community and contribute to a particular software. They try to enhance that software, improve that software, fix the bugs of that software, and these softwares are then used by many people. There is a possibility that if you find a bug in VLC Media Player, you can simply report it on GitHub, perhaps, right? And if you feel that there is a feature that can be added to VLC Media Player, then you can raise that issue. Or if you can code that up, if you can code that feature up, you can simply raise a pull request, and if the maintainer of the repo actually finds it that it is actually a useful feature and can be used by the people, so yes, it might be merged and your feature that you particularly added can be used by millions of people. So that's the beauty of open source. Even if you have not created the software, you can contribute to a particular software in a way that it will be used by many people, perhaps millions of people, as I said earlier. So that's really the cool idea of open source. And now coming on to Hacktoberfest. So Hacktoberfest is one way of promoting open source. These freebies are just a way of attracting people, and we Indians in general just get attracted to these things, these free items that they are providing, and we do not focus on the main beauty of open source or the real idea of open source, and that is what we are lacking in India. The awareness is less about the scope of open source. I really personally feel that the scope of open source is really great. So even in first year, if you are trying to improve the skills and you are not able to get internships, I have said in one of my other videos as well that open source is a great way to start. You will definitely not be paid, but again there will be so much learning that you can easily get good internships after contributing to some good open source projects. So that is one really good thing about it. But again, open source also has some programs like Google Summer of Code, MLH Fellowship, which actually provide you good amount of stipend for contributing to open source. So it is actually a great diverse field itself, and it is something really that you should explore. So I really request you all that if you are participating in Hacktoberfest, please do not make meaningless contributions. Try to make as meaningful contributions as you can. Obviously, as a beginner, it might be really difficult for you to directly contribute to projects like Mozilla Firefox or VLC Media Player, but I'll just show you in few seconds how you can start contributing as a beginner. and those contributions might not be the biggest ones, but it is at least better than simply correcting spelling mistakes in the docs, in the readme docs or whatever, like many people did last year because of the advice of a very famous YouTuber. And then the whole Indian community actually got ridiculed in the whole dev community overall, and especially in the open source world particularly. So let me just switch to the laptop and show you how you can start your open source contributions in an easy manner such that you can also fulfill the requirements of Hacktoberfest. So guys, I'll not exactly dive deep into what Hacktoberfest is, how to start with it and stuff like that. That is already covered in one of my previous videos. The link to that will be up here towards the top right corner of your screen, so you can simply check that out. I'll be telling you how you can start contributing to open source project as a beginner, right? So just to brief up about Hacktoberfest, simply open the website. All the rules and the regulations for Hacktoberfest are very properly given, and all the details are properly mentioned and very easy to understand. Okay, so you can simply check out everything on their website. I'll provide the link in the description for your ease. You can find the FAQs and see if your questions or doubts are already covered there or not. If they are not, then you can simply DM me on Instagram, message me on LinkedIn, whatever way you are comfortable, and I'll definitely answer your question. The prerequisites will obviously be that you have the basic knowledge of at least one programming language, you have the knowledge of GitHub, or basically open source in general. So there are a lot of resources to start GitHub with. Mainly they can be easily found on YouTube for free of cost, and actually these courses are really very good. Again, I'll provide the link to those courses or those tutorials in the description. Now coming on to the main topic, how we can easily contribute to open source projects or repositories as a beginner, right? So for that, simply open your GitHub, search any particular thing. So for example, I am interested in Python, right? So I'll search Python, and instead of in this user, click all GitHub. Okay, now once you open it, right, there will be a lot of repositories which will be related to Python specifically. So just try to find out whichever you might be interested in, and if you feel that it matches your skill set as well, then simply start contributing to those particular repositories. Now this is one way by which you can contribute to the projects which are related to your specific skill set or your preferred programming language. There is another for particularly Hacktoberfest. So again, we can simply search Hacktoberfest. Alright, and you can click on this see topic button, and once we open that, right, so we will be seeing a lot of repositories, over 70,000 repositories, and we can again filter out these repositories on the basis of your preferred programming language. So in my case, I would filter out on the basis of Python. So again, I can check these repositories, I can check if there is any issue to which I might be able to contribute. So just go to the issues and see if there is some issue which you can contribute to, then obviously just contribute and start your open source journey. If you can't, then keep looking out for the repository which might match your level of skills that you have, and perhaps you can just basically start your open source contribution at a very basic level. Okay, so simply scroll down as much as you can till you find the repository which you find interesting and also matches your skill set level. If you go back to the initial search of Hacktoberfest, that is here, these are one of the most basic repositories to start with for your Hacktoberfest contribution specifically. And also, if you want to start your open source contributions at a very basic level, these are one of the easiest repositories to start with your open source contributions. So let's just open one of them. So just scroll down again, look at any repository that you might find beginner friendly. So again, you can search beginner friendly. So this is one of the repositories which you might target initially when you are starting with open source contributions. So just go to the end and you can check out the readme section. Okay, so in the readme section they do provide a lot of detail as to how you can contribute to their repository, and similarly can be found for other repositories as well if you check out the readme of that particular repository. So all the steps are clearly mentioned. Again, you just have to start with open source. There is another cool way of contributing to open source projects. So as I told you earlier about Google Summer of Code, so let's just search that up. Yeah, so once we open their website, so just click on projects, and again, as I am familiar with Python, so I'll simply search Python, and as you search it, there will be projects that will be coming up which are related to Python. Okay, so you can simply check them out, and whichever you find interesting, you can start exploring that. And if you feel that you are comfortable enough, you have the skill set matching to it, then obviously you can start contributing to that project again. But yeah, you will not be paid exactly for these, because this wouldn't exactly be part of Google Summer of Code, because the selections for that has already been done. The Google Summer of Code 2021 has already ended. These are just the name of the list of the projects that were basically part of this Summer of Code, and you can still contribute to them because they are obviously open source. So yes, for your better skill set, for your good skill set, for you to improve a lot in development, you can simply start contributing to these projects as well, if you feel that your skill set is really good now. Or I mean, I will personally suggest people who are having intermediate skill set to go for this. Otherwise, I would really recommend it, because it might be too overwhelming for you, and you might just lose out your morale or something like that, and just give up on open source. So I do not want that. So if you are a complete beginner, then go to this method. If you are relatively intermediate, then you can try to check out Google Summer of Code projects directly. Open source has a lot of potential. Again, if you feel that data structures is not your cup of tea, all right, you really want to get into development, you just want to do development, then contributing to open source might be one of the best thing for you. I mean, I personally know a guy who got selected into Google Summer of Code twice, and apart from that also he kept on contributing to various open source projects. And on the basis of just his open source contributions, he was approached by HackerRank for interning there. So obviously this is very cool, because HackerRank is a great website. So just in case you do not know about it, HackerRank is a very famous website for you to improve your programming language skills. And just getting approached by a product based company which is very widely used by a lot of people, it is really awesome. And this is just one company that actually kind of hires through open source contributions. There are definitely a lot more which do the same. So yes, open source is a really cool thing that you must explore.